Hello everybody, hope all of you are well, and today I will continue the chapter electrochemistry, and today I will discuss the conductance of electrolytic solution. The power of the electrolyte to conduct electric current is called conductance of the electrolytic solution. Here first we will discuss the Ohm's law. All of you know that V is equal to IR. So the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across it. Okay, that is V, potential difference V is proportional to I, or we can write the V is equal to I into R. R is the proportionality constant. Okay, and here it is called resistance and its unit is ohm. And now resistance is that which measures the obstruction during the flow of current. Resistance of a uniform conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to its area of its cross section. Okay, so if we write that R is proportional to L and R is proportional to 1 by A. So from here we can write that the resistance R is proportional to L by A. That we can write. Now if we write R is equal to, there will be some proportionality constant. That proportionality constant will be rho into L by A. Now what is rho? Rho is called specific resistance. So this rho is specific resistance. Okay, and its unit is, in CGS it will be ohm centimeter, but if we think about SI unit it will be ohm meter, and this rho is called specific resistance or as well as also resistivity. Next we will discuss conductance C. Now we know that C is equal to 1 by R. So conductance, it is the measurement by which current flows through a conductor. Okay, it is the measurement by which current flows through a conductor and is known as conductance, and it is the reciprocal of the resistance. That means C is equal to, we can write 1 by R. Okay, now what will be the unit? Unit, definitely its unit will be ohm inverse. Ohm inverse, or we can also write is that mho. The SI unit of this C, that means conductance, is called Siemens. Okay, so SI unit will be Siemens. It is generally represented by the capital letter S, or we can write in this way S. Next we will discuss the conductivity or specific conductance. The reciprocal of the specific resistance rho is called conductivity. So it is generally represented by a term that is called kappa. This is kappa. So according to the definition, that the reciprocal of specific resistance, that rho is called conductivity, and it is generally represented by kappa. So what will be the kappa? The value of kappa will be 1 by rho. Okay. Now from here we know that rho is equal to, just now we have written that rho is equal to AR by L. R is the resistance A is the cross sectional area and L is the length of the conductor. Okay. Now here if we put the value of rho, so that will be, we'll get L by RA. Okay, so from here we can write that kappa is equal to 1 by R is equal to C into L by A. Now we know that C is called conductance. Conductance into what is L by A? A is the length and A is the cross section area, that is called cell constant. So by multiplying these two, conductance and cell constant, we can get the kappa. Okay. Now if we take here L is equal to 1 meter and A is equal to 1 meter square, then we can write kappa is equal to C. So we can define this kappa in another way, that conductivity may be defined as the conductance of a material when it is 1 meter long and its cross sectional area will be 1 meter square. And what will be the unit of this kappa? Kappa's unit will be ohm inverse meter inverse. Okay, or we can write that ohm inverse is equal to Siemens meter inverse or Siemens per meter. Okay. Next we will discuss the difference between metallic conductor and electrolytic conductor. Okay, or electrolytic conduction. Metallic conduction versus electrolytic conduction. So in case of metallic conduction, we know that electrons are responsible, that is the moving of the electron, and in case of electrolytic conduction, we know that free ions are carrying current, so free ions is responsible. So metallic conductor, these are the metallic substances which allow the current to pass through them but do not undergo any type of chemical reaction or any type of change. We can think about copper conductor, silver conductor, aluminium or platinum conductor. Here the electrical conduction decreases with increase of temperature because of resistance. But when we are thinking about the electrolytic conductors, there are the electrolytes. We can think about sodium chloride, potassium, that either in the molten state or in the aqueous solution or solution that will conduct electricity, and at the same time they will undergo the chemical decomposition. If we think about like sodium chloride solution, okay, here the electrical conduction increases with increase of temperature. Next we will discuss the molar conductance and equivalent conductance. Molar conductance is generally represented by lambda, capital lambda M. Now the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of the electrolyte in a solution is known as molar conductance and is represented by delta M. And molar conductance can be related with the specific conductance, that we know that lambda M is equal to that kappa into 1000 divided by molarity. Okay, and if we want to write the unit of this molar conductivity or molar conductance, that unit will be Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. So unit is Siemens centimeter square, okay, mole inverse. Now the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte in a solution is known as equivalent conductance, and equivalent conductance is generally represented by lambda EQ, equivalent. Okay, and the equivalent conductance can be related with the specific conductance, okay, as lambda EQ is equal to kappa into 1000 is the specific resistance divided by normality. Hope you can understand. Now here, what will be the unit of this equivalent conductance? It will be ohm inverse meter square, ohm inverse meter square, gram equivalent inverse, gram equivalent inverse. Okay, that will be the unit of this lambda equivalent, and definitely there is relation between this delta m and delta eq. That means this one is the molar conductance and equivalent conductance. Simply if you take the ratio, that is delta m divided by delta eq. So from here what you will get? We will get that normality by molarity. Or otherwise we can write that delta m is equal to some z into delta equivalent. Okay, so what is z here? Z is the total positive or negative charge, okay, per formula unit of the electrolyte. Suppose if we consider NaCl, it will be Z will be 1, okay, and in case of barium chloride, okay, or magnesium chloride, it will be 2. So you can understand. Next we will discuss relation between specific conductance and cell constant. Already I have discussed. Again I am discussing that the relation between the specific conductance and cell constants, that is R is equal to rho into L by A, that we know. Okay, and here if we write the value of rho, what will be the rho? Rho is equal to R into A by L. Okay, now we know that kappa is equal to 1 by rho. Now here if we put the value of rho, we will get that 1 by R, okay, putting the value of rho 1 by R into L by A. So this is nothing but L by A is what? Cell constant, and 1 by R, 1 by R is C. Here we are writing resistance, okay. So this is cell constant divided by resistance. Cell constant divided by resistance. Next day we will discuss numericals, okay, numerical problems from this part of electrochemistry. Next we will discuss the factors, okay. The factors affecting the conductance. Generally 3 factors are there. One is the nature of the electrolyte, second one is the concentration of the solution, and third one is the temperature. Now if we think about the nature of the electrolyte, stronger electrolytes have high conductance, because greater, if we take any strong electrolyte, it will be fully dissociated, so number of ions will be greater, okay, that is why conductance will be higher. But in case of weaker electrolytes, definitely its conductance will be low, because in case of weak electrolyte, it will be partially dissociated, okay, because of degree of dissociation is less, so lesser number of ions are present, so definitely conductance will be low. Next one we will discuss the concentration of solution. The molar conductance of strong electrolyte as well as the weak electrolytes increases with increase in dilutions or decrease in the concentration, but the variation is different for strong electrolyte as well as and weak electrolytes. So if we draw a graph, okay, then we can easily understand. There is a variation of molar conductivity with root C, okay, that is a concentration, root over concentration. So here we are plotting this graph. So here along x-axis we are plotting the root over the concentration, okay, and here This one is the lambda m. That is the molar conductivity. So if we take one strong electrolyte like potassium chloride, okay, the graph will be like this. Okay, and if we extrapolate it, we will get the lambda m infinity. Next I am discussing, and if we take the one weak electrolyte like acetic acid, here also we are plotting root C along x-axis and along y-axis lambda m. Then we will get a curve like this. This is for acetic acid. This one is for KCl, strong electrolyte, and this one is acetic acid, that is weak electrolyte. Okay. So what we are observing here, that is very much important. So molar conductivity of strong electrolytes increases slowly, okay, with dilution and approaches to a certain limiting value, and this limiting value of molar conductivity obtained at infinite dilution, okay, this one, that is known as molar conductivity at infinite dilution, and it is generally represented by delta m infinity, or in some books delta m 0 is given. So here we are writing delta m infinity, okay. Now delta m is equal to delta m infinity when C tends to 0. Okay, this is the case of strong electrolyte. But in case of weak electrolyte, molar conductivity of weak electrolytes increases to larger extent, okay, increasing to a larger extent with the increase in dilution, okay, because here dissociation will increase, and the increase is so large that we cannot find the delta m infinity, that is the infinite dilution, molar conductance at infinite dilution, okay, value by extrapolation of this curve. Here it is not possible, okay, the curve is like this. Here we will not get the value of delta m, okay. So there is another method given by scientist Kohlraasch, that we will discuss, Kohlraasch law. And the last factor is the temperature. The conductance of an electrolyte increases with increasing temperature. This is due to the increase of the speed of the ions. If you increase the temperature, speed of the ion, that is the mobility or velocity will increase, and decreases the viscosity of the solution with rising temperature. Okay, so the conductance of an electrolyte increases with increase in temperature. Next, we will discuss the law, okay, that is called Kohlraasch law. It is very important. Okay, at infinite dilution, the molar conductance of an ion is independent of the nature of the other ion with which it is associated in the electrolyte, and the limiting conductance lambda m infinity, that means at infinite dilution of an electrolyte, to the sum of the limiting molar conductance of its cation and anion, and each will be multiplied with the number of ions present in the formula unit. Okay. Now what will be the mathematical representation of Kohlraasch law? That we will write here, then you can easily understand that delta m, okay, infinity will be equal to the mu plus lambda plus infinity, that is for cation, plus minus delta infinity or minus, this is for anion. Okay, so what is delta m infinity? This is the molar conductivity at infinite dilution. And what is the delta plus infinity? That is the molar conductivity of cation at infinite dilution. And what is the delta negative, that means minus infinity. Okay, this is the molar conductivity of anion at infinite dilution. So nu plus nu minus, what these terms are? This is the A plus is the number of cations and this one is the number of anions, okay, present in one formula unit, okay, or formula unit. And finally we will discuss this application of this law. Actually, this Kohlraasch law can be used to calculate the molar conductivity for weak electrolyte. Okay, suppose if we consider the infinite dilution delta M value, okay, that means the molar conductivity at infinite dilution for strong electrolyte like HCl, NaCl and sodium acetate. Okay, so we are telling that the lambda M infinity value in case of strong electrolyte like HCl, NaCl and CH3COOL. So if all are strong, so from this table, okay, experimental value we can easily get the value of the lambda M infinity. Okay. Now by using the Kohlraasch law, we can easily calculate the lambda M infinity value of weak electrolyte like acetic acid. So what will be the value? So lambda M CH3COOH, that will be equal to the lambda M infinity of CH3COONA plus lambda M infinity of HCl minus lambda M infinity of NaCl. Okay. So from here we can easily, because here this Na plus and Cl minus, okay, that Na plus and Cl minus, okay, we will cut, because if we apply this formula, okay, and we will get the lambda M infinity value for acetic acid. And next another application we will discuss, that calculation of degree of dissociation for weak electrolyte. So here the formula we can apply, the degree of dissociation is generally represented by alpha. Okay, so we can calculate the value of alpha also, that is the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation, that will be equal to lambda MC by lambda M infinity. Now what is the lambda MC? It is the molar conductivity at a given concentration, and lambda M infinity is the molar conductance at infinite dilution. So in this way we can calculate the degree of dissociation. And another application we can tell, that the calculation of solubility of a sparingly soluble salt. Here also we can apply this formula, this lambda M infinity is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by solubility. Okay, so in this way we can easily calculate the solubility of a sparingly soluble salt. So hope you can understand the Kohlraasch law and its application. So today up to this, and next day we will discuss the Faraday's law, okay, and then we will start the numerical problems, okay, from this part. So today up to this, thank you.